Hi, my name is Kateřina Kaňoková. I'm an educator and consultant in the field of equal opportunities, gender diversity and work-life balance policy. Introduction to diversity from the point of view of the health condition. As being said, diversity means variety, heterogeneity, and it views all diversity positively. This is particularly important with diversity in terms of the health condition. Diversity in the terms of health condition and disability generally belongs to the so-called inner dimension of diversity. Persons with disabilities are people amongst us. They make up a large percentage. You can find them among employees, customers, consumers, as well as suppliers. Persons with disabilities cover the wide range. They cover the whole range of age, education, and professional spectrum. Why is diversity important in terms of disability? Because we all form one team with our differences, rather than despite them. Because we are all equal in our differences. And because diversity as such and thus also diversity of disabled provides the company with acceptance, tolerance, respect, humility and esteem. What are the type of disability and who belongs to the category of person with disabilities? There are various forms of health disability. It may be, for example, the auditory, visual, mental, physical, or psychological impairment. In the European Union, there are various degrees of disability. Basic degree of disability include slight, moderate, and heavy degree of disability. Slighter form of disability include, for example, people with asthma and psoriasis. Moderate form of disability include, for example, people with multiple sclerosis. And heavy degree of disability is usually diagnosed, for example, with people who have passed severe treatment of a severe disease. The European Commission adopted a European strategy for assistance to persons with disabilities for the years from 2010 to 2020, called the Extended Commitment for a Barrier-Free Europe, in which the need for greater employment of people with disabilities is stressed. Prejudices and stereotypes of persons with disabilities. First, it is important to properly understand the term disabled person, who is actually a disabled person. People often, under this term, only imagine a wheelchair-bound user and do not realize that there are many disability possibilities. And they are also completely unaware that not all groups of people with disabilities have the opportunity to contribute to the company's processes and performance. And a person with a disability is often seen as a patient, as an obstacle, as an inefficient person. A disabled person often faces preconception that this is a person who would require lots of special care in the company. With prejudices and stereotypes among people with disabilities, it is yet to be definitely point to accumulation of prejudices. As we said earlier, and we talked about the fact that the most common discrimination in the labor market is in terms of age, gender, health condition, and in terms of parenting. So if a mother of a small child who also has the status of disabled persons applies for a job, then she is discriminated 3 times in the labor market. She is being discriminated against as a woman, she is being discriminated against as a mother, and she is being discriminated against as a disabled person. Another accumulation of prejudices can be found with men at the age of 50 plus. These men are discriminated against because they are called old, therefore for reasons of age, and also because they are people with disabilities. What does initiate all these prejudices and stereotypes with people with disabilities? These prejudices and stereotypes generally result in a quite low employment of persons with disabilities. These people yet represent a huge untapped potential because they cover the whole broad spectrum, the spectrum in terms of education, age and career. Persons with disabilities find themselves in the state of economic passivity. They suffer from lower self-esteem and do not seek challenges. It is important to lend hand to these people. What does the increased protection in the labor market and diversity management mean in terms of health status? Persons with disabilities require a special care, a different care. Therefore, it is very important to make an analysis of the workplace so that just before the company expresses its interest and wants to recruit people with disabilities, to analyze the workplace in terms of dust, noise, in terms of accessibility. Let me give you an example. For example, at the moment when a company discovers that its environment is very dusty, it cannot offer the position in this environment to people with disabilities, such as those with allergies or asthma. However, people with hearing disabilities may well work in this dusty environment. Within the workplace analysis, it is also important to define aids, and it is also important to define those jobs. It is necessary that HR and company management realize that it is possible and the job allows it. It is good when the recruitment ad displays the notion that it is suitable for a person with disabilities. In this case, communication in the team is also very important. It is very important to adopt a neutral optics without prejudice, and it is important that the company's management, recruiters, and all ordinary employees are open-minded. The key is openness. The key is to give a chance to people who are in some ways different, but can complement us well in a lot of things. Employers who employ persons with disabilities are usually provided with a specific bonus, contribution to cover the payroll cost. Persons with disabilities should have equal access to the open labor market. Employers should have the will to overcome all obstacles, which detach people with disabilities from access to employment. These are physical barriers, such as transport, place of work, and also about the mental obstacles. You need to change the approach and the way of thinking. What are diversity benefits in terms of the health condition? For a company that actively operates diversity in terms of health, it has the economic, social, and societal benefits. Companies that hire people with disabilities also have some relief from the state. Some jobs are also subsidized by the Labor Office. The active support for people with disabilities not only improves the reputation and image of the company, but also increases satisfaction, loyalty, and motivation of employees. The company also earns respect in the eyes of suppliers and in the eyes of end customers and job seekers. 10 important points to remember. Diversity in terms of the health status is important. It is among the internal dimensions of diversity and views this type of diversity, difference, positively. Health disabilities are divided into categories: mental, physical, auditory, visual, and internal, mental or internal. People with disabilities cover the entire age, education, and professional spectrum. Prejudices, stereotypes of PWD, misunderstanding of the concept of PWD. PWD is perceived as a patient who needs care, as inefficient person obstacle. Consequences of these prejudices: low employment rate of PWD, the unexploited potential of a large group of people, worsened self-esteem of people with disabilities. These people lack the proactive approach. Diversity management in terms of health condition is important. The analysis of workplace adds definition, defining jobs, training, and education. Open communication is a key, without prejudice. At all levels of society inside, the importance of the awareness of people in the team prior to hiring PWD. If companies allow persons with disabilities to work, these people move from a passive role to a role of active contributors to the national economy. The rule for employing persons with disabilities: not looking for a reason why something does not work, but look for ways to lend a hand to people with disabilities. Benefits of employing persons with disabilities: the full utilization of the potential of people's social, societal, and economic benefits.